Hello, my name is Annette. I am the creator of Sunbeam Fabric Art. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this old quilt. I took my first long arm class a couple of weeks ago, and this is the quilt that I took with me just in case there was time to quilt it. This was probably the last quilt my mom made. It was a quilt top, very well done. However, the fabrics were a bit flimsy. There was no batting, there was only a fleece backing, and the item was not quilted at all. There was no yarn tying, there was no quilting done. So I did a simple loop-de-loop freeform on the long arm machine, which was a lot of fun, and it held the sandwich together. Then I could focus on repairing the quilt. Because of the ill usage at the nursing home, there were many holes and rips and tears in some seams, so I wanted to get that all fixed up. When I got it home from the long armor, I first cut off my mom's original binding, and you can see there the old binding. It still has some of that blue fleece backing stuck in it. She did not use any batting. I just put a new gray, simple gray with a blanket stitch binding on. I sewed it to the back first, then I flipped it around to the front and put a blanket stitch on it. So that looked pretty nice. I liked the way it turned out. I had to piece the backing together because I just had two pieces of vintage fabric that were not enough. So it turned out really cute, I think, the binding did, with the cute blanket stitch. So everywhere there was a rip or a tear, I put a basting pin in, a nice big pin that I wouldn't miss. I used giant size basting pins. So I did mark every hole. I had tried to patch a couple around the edges first, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to lose track of these. So I made sure and pinned every hole I found. Once I had all the rips and holes marked, I started making patches. I made patches and then I pinned the patches to the pinned rips. So that made it pretty easy. Of course, as I began stitching patches, I discovered more rips and added more pins and more patches as I went. To make patches, all I did was cut a little square of fabric, turn, under, and press all four edges, and then I top stitched it. I took a little break to double check my patches and make sure I wasn't missing anything or didn't forget anything. So here's a little tour of the quilt as it was at this stage. finally got all the patches sewed down. I think there were at least 14 or 15 of patches that I did. And I don't know if you noticed, but some of the fabrics I used on this were actually from my mom's stash. I still had a teeny tiny bit of fabric left over from her stash after she passed away, and I was able to use some of that fabric to make some of these patches, so that was very cool. The colors seemed to fit right in with what she was doing. Thanks for joining me on this little journey of my mom's quilt. This is Annette from Sunbeam Fabric Art.